Um, my name is Richard Fortier. I'm a Barrington graduate, and I grew up in Barrington my whole entire life. Essentially, I was adopted at 1 year old into a family there, and then I was raised through the school systems, the sports programs, what have you. There, I was very involved with music. I was involved with sports. Was in a band of my own. Um, I also was on JV and varsity basketball. So yeah, I was very involved. As I was growing up, I was just kind of holding in all this, I guess, anger, just questions about myself, other people. Going towards the end of high school, I would say I kind of got wrapped up in smoking weed and drinking and that sort of thing, falling in with the wrong crowd. I started struggling with family issues. I was, coming home late. I wasn't doing my homework. I wasn't getting along with my parents or siblings. They were like, "You have to get out. We can't really hang on to this burden," essentially. And I didn't understand it at first because I was a kid. I was like, "Why wouldn't you want me to live with you? I'm your son." I was parked over in Seekonk actually, when they had thrown me out because that was really the only place I could think of to go. So I was living in the back of my car. I was working at Roger Williams University at the time, and I was just driving from Walmart back to work and then back to my parking space. But I definitely knew that wasn't going to be sustainable, or I couldn't be doing that for a very long time. I guess you could say the first really bad experience that I kind of endured was when I was at work one day. I kind of just broke down. I was like, I can't do this. I wasn't happy with myself. That is when actually I, turned kind of suicidal, and I ended up really reaching out to one of my fellow co-workers, and they brought me over to Butler, and I did their inpatient program for a little bit, and I got out of there. I was doing all right, for I want to say 7 months. Eventually, I went back into the drugs, and that was my kind of second calling. I guess the last straw was when I had crashed my car, and that's really when I opened my eyes. It's like, wow, like this is it. It's either I straighten my act out, or I'm literally going to lose my life. For a while, I was couch surfing with a couple of buddies. I was, just trying to figure out how can I maintain a job and where am I going to sleep every night. My friend Dylan Carney, he was the first person to really reach out to me. He basically pulled me out of the dirt one day. He had called me. He was like, "Hey, Ricky, like, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just sitting in my car. I'm homeless. I'm homeless all day, every day." And he was like, "Well, my mom works at a shelter, and if you are willing to really try this time, not just say you're going to do it, but actually try, I'm willing to give you another chance." I was like, "You know what's one more shot?" So, they brought me over to 160 on Broad Street, and, I looked around, and I'm not from the city, so I was like, this is new. I entered the shelter. They put me in a program called Roast to Success, and that Roast to Success class basically was a setup for you to be able to get employment. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to do as many job applications as I can. As I'll apply anywhere. I won't say no to work, and we're going to see where I end up. And so, after receiving some help from Crossroads, filling out applications, I then was offered a job over here at Harrington Hall. I started working here about a year and probably like 3-4 months ago, and so it's been quite the journey over here. I was able to obtain an apartment, that is also maintained by me working over here at Harrington Hall. Now that I'm working here, it's really it's not so much about just getting money and surviving now. I would say now it's more about the clients here. Now that I'm doing okay for myself, I really want to help, a lot of these guys out, just because I was in the same position that they were. I try to tell them, hey, if I'm 23 and I can do it, then anybody can do it. I've been in my apartment for a little over a year now, and that's really what I fight for every day. Crossroads has given me the opportunity to go through their housing employment process, and I was able to, get myself a actual place to stay in instead of the back of the car. So I really had a team behind me to be able to get to where I am. Um, I'm definitely grateful for that.